The sun had barely risen when Daniel Hayes tiptoed across his modest apartment, careful not to wake his daughter, Emily. Today was special. Not because it was a holiday or a birthday, but because he had made her a simple promise, a picnic in the park. Daniel, a single father in his late 30s, was no stranger to sacrifice. After losing his wife to cancer 2 years ago, life had become a daily balancing act of long work shifts and parenting. But amidst the struggles, Daniel had found peace in the little moments. Emily, with her gap-toothed smile and boundless imagination, was his reason to keep going. Money was tight, but love was abundant. He packed a basket with whatever he could muster: homemade peanut butter sandwiches, a few apples, and a small thermos of lemonade. It wasn't lavish, but to Emily, it was everything. "Daddy, are we there yet?" Emily chirped, her tiny hand gripping his calloused fingers as they made their way down the park path. "Almost, kiddo. We just need to find the perfect spot." The park was alive with families, joggers, and couples. Blankets and picnics were scattered across the green expanse. Music drifted in the air, mixing with the hum of conversations and children's laughter. That's when Daniel spotted it, a serene patch of grass under a grand oak tree. Shaded, quiet, and away from the bustling crowds. Without knowing it, Daniel had laid claim to a spot meant for someone else, someone from a completely different world. Across the park, a flurry of activity was taking place. Event organizers in crisp uniforms were finalizing preparations for an exclusive luncheon hosted by Nathan Carlisle, a billionaire tech magnate known for his philanthropy, but also his perfectionism. Nathan's team had chosen the oak tree spot for its picturesque view, planning an opulent setup with champagne towers, catered hors d'oeuvres, and elite guests. But none of that mattered when Daniel and Emily unknowingly made it their humble picnic ground. The event staff exchanged uneasy glances. "We need that family to move," discreetly, one whispered. "Nathan is arriving soon, and he won't like this." But as they approached, their steps slowed. There was something undeniably pure about the scene: a father, clearly worn from life's battles, sitting cross-legged on a faded blanket while his daughter animatedly pointed at cloud shapes. A sleek black SUV pulled up. Out stepped Nathan Carlisle, sharp suit, designer sunglasses, a man used to owning rooms with his mere presence. But today, as he scanned the setup, his eyes locked onto something unexpected: a father and daughter sitting exactly where his team had reserved for him. Event managers braced themselves for a stern reaction. But Nathan did something none of them expected. He smiled. "Wait here," he told his assistant, walking toward the pair. His polished shoes crunched softly over the grass until he stood right before them. Daniel looked up, immediately recognizing him. "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We didn't realize this area was reserved. We can pack up and move." Nathan shook his head gently. "Relax. Looks like you two beat me to the best seat in the park." Emily, ever curious and free-spirited, piped up. "Do you want a sandwich, mister? Daddy makes them the best." A billionaire, being offered a peanut butter sandwich. And Nathan, for once in his life, accepted. Nathan sat on the blanket, ignoring the stunned faces of his team. For a moment, he wasn't a billionaire. He was just a man, sitting under a tree, sharing peanut butter sandwiches with strangers who treated him like a person, not a CEO. As Emily told wild stories about her cloud kingdom, Nathan found himself laughing, truly laughing, something he hadn't done in months. "So, what brings you two out here today?" Nathan asked. Daniel's answer was simple, yet profound. "Just keeping a promise. Life's busy, but I try to make sure Emily knows she's the most important part of mine." Those words struck Nathan harder than any boardroom debate. Here was a man who, with so little, was giving his daughter everything that truly mattered. Over the next hour, Nathan learned about Daniel's life. How he juggled late shifts as a mechanic, how he had lost his wife yet never lost hope, and how every Sunday picnic was a small rebellion against life's chaos, a sacred father-daughter tradition. Meanwhile, Daniel saw past Nathan's billionaire image. He saw a man who, despite his wealth, seemed lonely. Nathan confessed that his life was filled with charity galas and business deals but lacked genuine human connection. "You spend so much time building empires," Nathan said, "that you forget what it's like to build real moments." As the event time approached, guests started to arrive. The setup was immaculate, but Nathan's priorities had shifted. He stood up, clinking his glass, gathering the attention of the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "today's charity event was designed to raise funds for children's hospitals. But sitting here, with Daniel and his daughter Emily, I've realized charity isn't about luxury events or press releases. It's about recognizing the everyday heroes who live selflessly, who sacrifice quietly, and who find joy in the smallest things." He paused, looking at Daniel. "This man reminded me that real impact starts not with speeches, but with simple acts of love." The crowd listened, captivated. Nathan continued, "Effective immediately, my foundation will launch a nationwide support program for single parents like Daniel, unsung heroes who deserve more than our applause. They deserve our action." The park erupted in applause. Daniel was speechless. What began as a humble picnic had turned into the catalyst for a movement. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Nathan knelt beside Emily. "Thank you, Princess, for sharing your picnic spot with me." Emily giggled. "You're welcome, mister. You can sit with us any time." Nathan smiled, knowing that this unplanned afternoon had changed him forever. It wasn't the billion-dollar deals or the luxurious galas that left a legacy, it was the human moments, raw and unfiltered. As Daniel packed up their things, overwhelmed yet grateful, Emily tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy, I think you made a new friend today." And she was right. From that day forward, Nathan Carlyle was no longer a distant billionaire. He became a man who remembered where true wealth lived, in the hearts of people who give, even when they have little to spare. The story of a simple picnic spread like wildfire. Media outlets shared it, people retold it in cafes and living rooms. But beyond the headlines, it served as a timeless reminder. Kindness doesn't need permission. Compassion doesn't recognize status. And sometimes, the most extraordinary changes begin with the simplest of moments, a father, his daughter, and a patch of grass under an old oak tree. In a world chasing after titles and trophies, the real victories happen in quiet places, where love speaks louder than wealth, and humanity bridges every divide.